The strange sensation of freedom that the being experiences when it interacts with the only truth is akin to a walk in a holographic forest filled with fauna and flora which the being identifies as paradise. The spectacular likeness of the being on this walk causes the being to no longer recognize itself. Quietude and abandonment have brought it here, to expose it to a unique truth. Understanding obtained in layers reaches limits beyond any imagination. If there is belonging, it is to this place. If there is eternity, it is in this place. That is why the book returns, to remind the being that it is indeed possible to unmask dark aspects, that it is possible to navigate in the light, that the path is not outside the being, and that the invitation has always been extended to it. For the being to open itself to itself, no matter how many admonitions and difficulties are imposed on the being, even if demands are made for the payment of penalties, the resolution of karmic issues, or any other imposition or limitation that makes the being doubt its power, it is enough for the being to continue to believe in itself, and in the answers obtained in the solitude of its empire, not allowing its faith to be shaken, and keeping alive within itself the vision of the path that is already within it, a path against which nothing and no one can do anything. This is an important key. Nothing and no one has any access to the path of the traveler, neither men nor gods. Nor will anyone else walk the traveler's path. That is why the book is so emphatic and repetitive in reminding that perfection and justice solely the result of work, and that work is individual to each being. If any being is frustrated to discover that it cannot use anything or anyone on the journey, what motivates it is not knowledge, but rather dependent relationships. Note that working with one's counterpart is not an exception. The being and its counterpart form the first embryo of unity. And this is another key in the journey, by one path or another. Understanding this, the being should not entrust the identification of its counterpart to any type of oracle or any third-party form of identification. There have already been too many sales of processes for identifying special beings through such processes in various societies. Either being needs to be very careful not to surrender to the conjurers and false magicians who take advantage of the momentary ignorance of the being to inject their power of persuasion. The imposition of the presence of spirits and astral visitors spreads in such a way that its repercussions in a chain of ignorance continue to gather followers and believers in its truth. The amount of concepts, widely discussed and amplified, imposed as serious, and with the possibility of punishment if profaned, provides this idea of answers coming from deities, angels, saints, or supernatural beings. The being needs to understand that the answers are not outside of it. Therefore, the knowledge and identification of its counterpart result from immensely clear and intuitive signs.